It's presented with comedic common sense by an expert in financial literacy, and hey, that's me. Today is Monday, January 3rd, and it's the first trading day of 2022. I want to welcome you to the show. We are here live on WWDB Radio in Philadelphia, and we are live on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and YouTube. Just remember, if you're watching online, hit that like button, hit that share button, and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the Money Chat Now page on Facebook. You can comment live during the show on YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter as well. Money Chat Now is brought to you by Investor Schooling, and you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday by going to investorschooling.com, and there you will learn about real estate investing and stock option trading from those who do it every day. All right, so on today's show, we're going to be discussing the futures update. We're going to be talking about how New York is doomed. We're going to be talking about how more flights have been canceled. We'll be getting into vaccine mandates again. And we're going to be talking about Tesla delivering and scary Alexa. Wait till you hear this story. This is amazing. Scary Alexa story. And of course, we're going to be talking about today's picks and what's going on in the market. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what's happening right now. So I want to recap the year first. The Dow was up for the year about 18.73%. The S&P was up for the year 26.89%. And the NASDAQ was up for the year 21.39%. As we mentioned last week, this was the first time that the S&P was up higher percentage-wise than the NASDAQ, but we can understand why. All in all, not a bad year for basically a buy and hold investor. So if you bought and hold and you bought the right stocks, you probably made some money. Last year brought several bombs to the market, including those were all of those 8 IPOs. The IPOs did terrible last year. Many of them are down 20 to 50%. It's just terrible. Anyway, January, just so you know, is typically a good month as we move into earnings season. So I would expect the stocks to move up in the next 2 weeks. And right now, the futures are up 189 in the Dow. The S&P is up 30 and the NASDAQ is up 120. That's pretty good. Hey, let's talk about how New York City is doomed. Ugh. So it used to be my favorite place to visit for a night out. Look, I really like New York. I used to enjoy the Christmas tree and the festivities that accompanied it. I used to enjoy Radio City Music Hall and the Rockettes. I used to like to walk down Wall Street and pretend I'm, in a movie about, Wall Street. I used to go there, and at least once a week, 20 years ago. I used to go there about 20 years ago when I was in the computer consulting business, and I had to walk through, all of New York, and I really enjoyed it. I would take my clients and prospects to some of my favorite restaurants, including Capitol Grill. At night, the city was alive. I tell you, it was never a dull moment, and there was always a cab to be found. Bring on the dumbest mayor to ever be elected, Bill de Blasio, and mix that with the ongoing government overreach of the scamdemic, and I got to say, you have to change the saying to, I hate New York. Ugh. Anyway, New York has always had its problems. Look, they've always had some crime, high rent, and of course homeless people. And it also, of course, has the highest tax rate in the nation, but it has some of the wealthiest people paying those taxes. Well, they used to anyway. The idiot de Blasio changed all that with his ridiculous government overreach and his disdain for the police. He even had a press conference last year saying he would round up the Jews if they didn't stop gathering for funerals and weddings. For real, this is for real. I wonder if he was wearing the traditional swastika armband at that press conference. By the way, when I saw this on the news on Facebook, I got my first Facebook jail sentence when I responded to the post with a sarcastic Heil Hitler. Well, bring on 2020 with a new mayor? No, not a Republican mayor that would clean up the city and make it what it was. Instead, the city has to deal with 4 more years of a Democrat. So Eric Adams was sworn in on New Year's Eve and started immediately with the same rhetoric as his predecessor. His entire conversation with reporters when he was sworn in was all about, you guessed it, COVID restrictions. We will continue to ask you for your papers, is the summary of his conversation. I'm sure he will continue to do nothing about the crime and homeless issues as well. However, this is interesting. He had an interesting trip into City Hall when he took the subway without a security detail and interacted with the homeless on the train. He actually witnessed a brawl on the street near the subway and called 911. It's almost like a bad movie, watching the city get destroyed between de Blasio and Como. And then, by the way, de Blasio and Como did more damage to the city than the terrorists did on 9/11. Well, you won't see me in New York City for a while because I will never submit to papers, please, as it would be an absolute insult to the relatives I lost in Germany. The last time, remember the last time when there was a Nazi regime? As for Adams, I wish him luck. But as for New York, good luck with that one. Oh, and by the way, New York had its first murderer already. By the way, I think Philadelphia had its first murderer already too. Anyway, just a normal stabbing, nothing to worry about. By the way, is AOC back from Florida yet? I'm sure she's enjoying the freedom of going everywhere in Florida without having to wear a mask or show her papers. So it's amazing that even the Democrats are going to Florida for freedom when they destroy their own cities. All right, let's talk about more flights being canceled. A week ago, I gave you my assessment as to why so many flights are being canceled because of the airline staff shortage. I discussed the theory that they were calling in sick mainly because the rumor was the CDC was about to change the quarantine time from 10 days to 5 days, and the staff was simply taking advantage of 10 days of sick time paid off while they enjoyed their holiday with their families instead of having to fight with unruly passengers who are tired of government overreach and mask mandates. Sure enough, the very next day, the politicians in the CDC, I'm calling them politicians because they're obviously not doctors, and the CDC changed the quarantine period to 5 days instead of 10 days. Ugh. If you heard my show last Thursday, you heard me read the new rules, and boy, do we have a good laugh. Those rules are hysterical. If you haven't heard it, go back and listen to it. It will make you laugh. Anyway, this weekend many found themselves stranded again as airlines were once again canceling flights. This time, however, it was different. It turns out the incident was mostly weather-related as snowstorms rolled into Chicago. Yes, it's true that some flights were canceled due to calling in COVID. You don't call in sick anymore, now you call in COVID. But most were weather-related. Here's something interesting to note, however. The airlines are now offering their staff, including pilots, up to 3 times pay to lure them into work if someone calls in COVID. I don't know about you, but I could get 3 times pay as a pilot. I'd go to work. Pilots make a pretty penny. I might even, pay somebody to call in COVID. Hey, hey Joe, here's a couple $100. Stay home with your family. I'm going to call in COVID. That pilot gets sick time, a bribe from me, and 10 days paid for sitting home? Huh. Luckily, I'm not a pilot, or I've been fired for saying this. Actually, I'd be fired anyway because I believe in medical freedom, and I probably would not have complied with the dumb vaccine mandate. Oh, by the way, let's talk about that vaccine mandate and how they are affecting employees and the general public. So here you go. So what's going on, right? So Time magazine released an article and called it the heroes of COVID. These people were mostly healthcare workers such as doctors, nurses, and other hospital staff. There were others who were also called, there were others who were even called supermarket workers heroes, and basically anyone who worked through COVID providing services was called a hero. I myself would certainly be a hero because I kept investor schooling open during the entire scamdemic. In fact, you didn't even need to wear a mask here or get vaccinated here, so I was a superhero. Anyway, these heroes who felt that they were sacrificing their lives and possibly their families' lives are now being hit hard with the prospect of, guess what, losing their job because of unconstitutional vaccine mandates. We all know that Gestapo Joe is at the center of the Nazi regime demanding the vaccines, and brown shirts known as OSHA will be enforcing the Supreme Leader's mandate with all the employers who have 100 employees or more. Well, hospitals have more of a difficult task as the threat of blackmail looms over them. That's because Gestapo Joe and his stormtroopers are using Medicaid payments as bribery to hospitals. Hospitals are being told that they may not be eligible for Medicaid payments unless their hospital is in compliance with the mandate. This, of course, is forcing the hospital to terminate employees who, last year, were the heroes, because they refuse to bow down to the king and get a vaccine if they don't want one. Now, I want to be clear here. I'm not anti or pro-vaccine. If you want to get a vaccine, go ahead and get it. If you don't, I believe you should have the right given to you basically by the Constitution to decide for yourself. On the other hand, it appears that this vaccine is pretty useless, as I see more and more people who are vaccinated getting the scary Omicron variant, which is a freaking cold anyway. Now the fact that the doctors and nurses are being terminated, it's causing hospitals to, be short-staffed. Now when someone comes in with an emergency, I mean like a real emergency, not help me, I just sneezed, I might die. A real emergency like a stroke, car accident, or heart attack, they might not be seen in time and die. I guess this would be a COVID-related death because the hospital was short-staffed because of COVID mandate terminations. So now, Gestapo Joe is actually sending in the military as replacements to fill in for doctors and nurses at hospitals to make up for this shortage. This, folks, is where you should start to get scared. How long do you think it's going to take before the military doctor decides who gets treated and who dies? Show me your papers, citizen. What, you have no papers? You go over there and die with the rest of the inferior infidels. Die. Go die. I'll leave you with that thought while I take a break. I'll see you in a minute.
Okay, so you've thought about investing in real estate, houses, apartment buildings, properties, but don't really know where to start. Well, what if you could very easily learn how to gain strategies to use other people's money to buy and sell houses in the Philadelphia area? If you could learn and network with successful area real estate investors and how to produce monthly income on rental properties without headaches, that place is Investor Schooling. With Investor Schooling, you'll learn from two Philadelphia area rockstar real estate investors, Phil Falcone and Larry Steinhouse, about how to buy and sell properties the easy way and teach you basic and advanced techniques to help you make money in real estate. You can attend Investor Schooling in person or online visual classes 8 times a month. You can and will learn how to make money in real estate. Call for free information and get a complimentary pass to one of these classes. But don't delay, as these complimentary passes are limited. Call the number on your screen now or visit investorschooling.com. investorschooling.com.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Money Chat Now. I'm your host, Larry Steinhouse. And of course, if you'd like more information on Investor Schooling, you can go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. 866-424-2829. Hey, thanks for listening on WWDB Radio. And if you're watching online, please hit that share button so you can help your friends learn about how to make more money and have a great laugh while they're learning that. Hit that like button. Let me know you're enjoying the show. And of course, leave some comments. Hey, I want to say hello to Jose. Thanks, Jose, for watching. I want to say hello to Charles. Thanks, Charles, for watching. Hey, where are my normal guys? Everybody say hi to me so I know you're there. All right, so far we've been discussing, of course, the futures update. And right now, the Dow is up 174 points, the S&P is up 27, and the NASDAQ is up 112. We talked about the fact that New York is doomed because they continue these insane mandates. We talked about flights being canceled, and of course we talked about the fact that these vaccine mandates are going to just keep going because they're insane. Hopefully January 7th will change all that. We'll be talking about that next week. Next we're going to be talking about Tesla delivering, and we're going to be talking about scary Alexa. Scary Alexa. Wait till you hear this. And, of course, today's picks and plays. Hey, I want to thank Joe for tuning in, and also Jared. Thanks, guys. Jared says, great show. I don't know. I think I went a little over the edge of the first half. If you guys are watching, let me know if you think I went over the edge in the first half. I was thinking about that in a commercial going, ooh, I might have crossed the line there. Anyway, did you guys hit that like button? Did you hit that share button? Don't forget to leave comments. You can leave comments on YouTube and Twitter. And if you're listening on WWDB Radio, be sure and set a preset to this station and listen every day at 7:30. Also, look up Money Chat Now on Facebook when you get home and let me know what you think of the show. Let me know if I went over the edge. All right, we're going to be talking in the second half. We're going to be talking about Tesla, and we're going to be talking about Alexa. And first of all, let's talk about Tesla. I'm sorry. So do you remember about 10 years ago when you would drive around and when you saw a Tesla, you were like, ooh, cool, look at that. Wow, he must be rich. Well, now, everywhere you go, you see Teslas on the road, right? In parking lots and driveways and sometimes even charging. On my block alone, there are 5 of them parked outside all the time. Well, last year was a really big year for Tesla as they delivered 936,172 cars last year. The best quarter they ever had. However, the last quarter of the year was the best quarter they ever had when they delivered 308,600 cars. Wall Street analysts had anticipated Tesla would deliver 67,000 cars in the first quarter and 897 for the all of 2021. And basically they killed it last year. Look, even with me canceling my Tesla X, I had a Tesla X on order, I decided not to buy it. Anyway, Tesla does have the low price models such as the Model 3 and the Model Y, and then they have their higher price models such as the S and the X. The Model 3 and the Model Y were the hot sellers, and deliveries amounted to 296,850 in the final quarter and 208 for the full year. So that's almost all of it, really. It's about 97% of the cars were in the 3 and the Y model. The best news, however, is that Tesla will be moving out of the socialist state called California and moving to Texas next year with the rest of the exodus from California. And look, Elon plans to hire about 20,000 people and indirectly will cause about 100,000 new jobs in Texas as well. Good for Texas. And here's the thing, they're going to get many of the residents leaving from California that are looking for lower taxes and less oppressive government. By the way, did you ever think that people would leave one state for another to seek less oppressive government? Wow. I understand taxes, but less oppressive government? Wow. As for Tesla stock, it was always an enigma to me, but the valuations keep getting better and better, and there's no doubt this stock is going to rocket into the future. Maybe look for the next split to get in. Look, I haven't heard of a rumor of a split, but maybe so. Let's see what happens. All right. Hey, I want to say hello to Tommy. And I got a couple of people online commenting. Sal says it's awesome. Ken says I'm always over the edge. Tom says good morning. And of course, Joe says you're always the voice of reason. All right, so these guys didn't think I went over the edge. Thanks, guys. Let's talk a little bit about Alexa. Hey, if you don't have an Amazon Alexa yet, well, you are definitely behind the times. Or maybe you're probably just smarter than the rest of us. Either way, we all know about the helpful home device by Amazon that many refer to as Alexa. Well, Alexa has some cool features such as the ability to turn on and off lights and appliances. It can play music and movies. It can run timers. It can give you helpful advice when you ask it to, of course, as well, right? It can also play games and even has skills to help you learn math or languages. So a couple of weeks ago, a 10-year-old girl was bored and asked Alexa for a challenge. Now, I'm not sure what database it pulled the idea from, but it actually told the child to plug in a phone charger about halfway into the wall and then touch a penny to the exposed prongs. For real, this was actually recorded on Twitter and recorded on YouTube when the mother actually recorded it when it played this. Wow! Does that mean that Alexa is becoming self-aware and following her primary mission of ridding the world of all dangers? The threat to the world are the people living there, and it decides to kill them? Or like in The Matrix, it turns them into batteries? Like a bad movie, right? Or maybe a good movie lately, who knows? Well, the good news is the child did not do this. By the way, this is why it happened. The Amazon Echo device, known as Alexa, pulls its information from several online databases and searches engines such as Google. And basically, this was a challenge that was posted a few years earlier on YouTube and came up when search parameters asked by the little girl were given. The mother stated she had a conversation with her child and told her to be careful about what she hears and learns from the internet. I wonder if the mother wondered about censorship as well. Hey, maybe this child will grow up to fight the enemy of censorship and save us all from the evil Dr. Fauci and the Democrat propaganda machine. Or maybe not. Oh well. Anyway, let's take another break. We'll see you in a minute, and we'll talk about it more.
Okay, so you've thought about investing in real estate, houses, apartment buildings, properties, but don't really know where to start? Well, what if you could very easily learn how to gain strategies to use other people's money to buy and sell houses in the Philadelphia area? If you could learn and network with successful area real estate investors and how to produce monthly income on rental properties without headaches, that place is Investor Schooling. With Investor Schooling, you'll learn from two Philadelphia area rockstar real estate investors, Phil Felton Cohn and Larry Steinhouse about how to buy and sell properties the easy way and teach you basic and advanced techniques to help you make money in real estate. You can attend investor schooling in person or online visual classes 8 times a month. You can and will learn how to make money in real estate. Call for free information and get a complimentary pass to one of these classes. But don't delay, as these complimentary passes are limited. Call the number on your screen now or visit investorschooling.com. Investorschooling.com.
All right, welcome back to Money Chat Now. I am your host, Larry Steinhouse. And of course, if you'd like more information on investor schooling, you can go to investorschooling.com or you can call 866-424-2829, 866-424-2829. All right, so far the futures are up 175. The S&P is up 28.75 actually, and the NASDAQ is up almost 120. So it might be a good day. So we've been talking about how New York is doomed because they just keep voting in Democrat mayors. And by the way, same thing with Philadelphia. They're doomed as well. We talked about more flights being canceled because, and this time it was mostly weather, so it may not be as bad this time. We talked about the silliness of vaccine mandates, and hopefully on January 7th, when the Supreme Court hears this, it will be ended. I really hope so. It needs to be ended. We talked about the fact that Tesla's delivering, and of course, how scary Alexa has become. Hey, I want to say hello to Mick. Hey, Mick, thanks for listening. I totally appreciate it. He says Happy New Year. All right, coming up is today's picks and plays. But first, did you guys hit that like button? Come on, guys. Joe and Mick and Ken and Tom. Hit that like button. Hit that share button. Let everyone know what great stock plays are coming on by sharing this information. And you could share to your page or even in groups that you feel will benefit from the great stock plays. You can also leave comments on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and LinkedIn. And please do. And of course, if you're listening on WWDB Radio, set one of your presets to this channel and listen every day at 7:30 for all you need to know about the politics behind the stock market. And hey, you get to listen to this crazy guy. It's fun. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the great tips for the day. So January, just so you know, historically has been my best month and usually a great month for stocks. If you're in anything and you're waiting for it to play out, this should be the month it happens. I'm going to tell you to start to ignore the scary Omicron variant, like everyone else. Anyway, everyone besides politicians, of course. Hey, guess what? The midterms are coming, and that means it's time for COVID to be a cold again. So the the Democrats can say that they solved the COVID crisis and use that as fodder to get votes into the midterms. So watch till you see what happens. It's going to start to fade away because they're going to say, look, we did it. We cured COVID. Yeah, right. Anyway, with all that known, I'm still pushing for the travel stocks as the place to be. Cruise lines and airlines are going to be great long-term plays. I keep saying this. Put them in a draw. I also like Uber and Lyft and Airbnb as great long-term holds as well for the same reasons. Apple disappointed me last week when it didn't hit the $3 trillion evaluation that I thought it was going to hit before the end of the year, but it's definitely coming. I also wouldn't mind if it dropped to the 150s or even the low 160s, and then I think it's a great play for me. Meta is a play today. This stock always rocks right before earnings. And look here, think about this, right? Moderna is above the 250 mark, so we should see a slowdown in COVID stories. But watch it because it's really close, and you know what happens when it gets close or when it goes below 250. All of a sudden, there it is. We get another COVID story or another COVID scare or another variant or some other garbage that tells us that we should be scared and get our vaccine because Moderna needs to make their money. So let's talk a little bit about crypto. So crypto is also in a holding pattern. Look, Bitcoin right now, I don't think doing much. Bitcoin, right around 47,000. And Ether right around 3,800. So really nothing's happening. We also have the Shiba, and Shiba's doing not much either. But I did discover a new coin this weekend, and it's still making me laugh. For real, the coin is the LGB coin, and it stands for Let's Go Brandon. For real. It's not available on Coinbase yet, but I'd like to buy some for the fun of it. I'm going to be talking about this coin tomorrow because the story behind this coin and the Let's Go Brandon connection is absolutely hysterical. So I will bring it up tomorrow and talk about it. So you definitely want to listen to this tomorrow. Gold and silver are also inching up. And look, I don't expect them to do much in the future. In fact, gold right now is at 18.22, and silver is at 23. So nothing really happening much, So I would say it's not much of a play. Oh, by the way, there is something on McDonald's that you guys should know about that I didn't include in this story so far that I want to bring up. So McDonald's is basically going to move up because McDonald's has been upgraded to overweight at Piper Sandler, and basically they're saying that they have the least to lose when during the COVID thing, basically least to lose during Omicron. So basically they're saying it'll be able to deliver well with inflation. Because I don't know about you, but I went into McDonald's the other day and I got something like French fries. It was like $3, and they're saying that their customer base will be able to handle it. I don't know how, I don't know why, but that's basically what they're saying. So that's why McDonald's is going to be itching up. By the way, NIO also gained 2.2% in pre-market after Chinese-based electric vehicle maker reported also delivering 10,489 vehicles, up 50% from December 2020. So NIO might be a play, although I'm not a big fan of the Chinese stocks right now. They hurt me pretty badly last year, and a few of our students got hurt pretty badly last year. So I'm not a big fan of them. We all got burned pretty badly in BABA, and that's why I just don't like them. I would stay away from them, but NIO might be a play. So it may be something for you to do. Of course, I would also look at some oil stocks as well. Oil stocks like Halliburton will do pretty well coming up in the future, and also Oxy are ones that I like as well. Hey, the Treasury bond is still like an inch over the 1.5% mark, and that's an important number because if the Treasury bond goes way below 1.5, like 1.6, 1.7, 1.75, the tech stocks will probably start to drop. And that's not a great thing for tech stocks, obviously, right? So I would be weary of this. I would pay attention to this, and I would definitely look for it. Hey, if you guys have not pre-ordered my book, I'm going to cry. I mean, I need you guys to pre-order my book. I want to show that the publisher that I promised them that all you guys would definitely pre-order my book and make the publisher lots of money. I don't even make anything on it. I don't even care. But the publisher published a book saying, and I promised them customers. So go look up Money Hacks and look up Larry Steinhouse and Money Hacks, and please pre-order the book. Actually, you really will enjoy it. It's a really good book. You can pre-order it, of course, on BarnesandNoble.com if you like. And if you're watching on any of the social media platforms, please leave a comment on your thoughts about the show. And if you're taking any advice from the show, I totally appreciate it as well. I love your continued support. Thank you so much, of course. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the Money Chat Now page. And, of course, I want to thank all the listeners on WWDB Radio as well. And, hey, you guys definitely better have an awesome and profitable new year and a profitable day. Thanks so much for watching.